Before starting today's assignment, please practice with your colored pencils, a skill that we've already done once before. We're going to make sure that we have this down before we start. Creating a dark, medium, and a light value, and then transitioning smoothly from that value from one to the next. So coloring nice and dark inside a space, pressing hard with good craftsmanship, going back and forth over that until all that space is filled up. Nice and dark, hard pressure to get nice solid color. In this middle section, using a little bit lighter pressure, not going quite as hard, but still using good craftsmanship to smoothly fill the space. You can go over it multiple times lightly to build the color in multiple directions to make sure that it is smooth. Just make sure it is lighter than the dark one. And then in our last one, we're going to go so lightly, just the lightest value you can make, just gently letting that pencil drag across that paper to lightly fill up that space. If you need to go back over one or more of these and build the layers up to make sure that it is dark, medium, and light, just practice that until you get it right. If you can't quite get this lightest value first, draw another box and try again, just really lightly. And notice I'm holding my pencil way back here at the back to just get gentle pressure. I'm just letting my pencil rest. I'm not even pushing down. I'm just kind of dragging it across back and forth. I'm not even pushing at all. It's just dragging itself across the page to create that nice light value. In this value change here, this blending, we practice this in our woven ribbon drawing. We are going to practice that again to make sure we can get that. So we're just going to do the same thing we did up here, just smoothly without the separation. We want it to go from dark to light in a smooth transition. So I can just go back, and as I color away from left to right, I can just lighten the pressure on my colored pencil. And as I get over here, super light, just not even pushing down at all. And I can go back in here and build up the edges lightly until they match the value that is needed here, so that it goes from dark to light. And notice again, I can build these layers until it has a smooth transition going from dark to light all the way across. If you don't get this one the first time either, please try again. Make sure that you can get this skill down before you begin your drawing. In this assignment, we are combining lots of old and new concepts. Please make sure to follow the directions of the assignment in order so that you do not confuse yourself or get ahead of yourself and make a mistake. We are combining our practice of contour line observational drawing from our owl contour drawing by drawing our line drawing of our animal. We are introducing some new knowledge of complementary colors with our primary and secondary color wheel. We are practicing an old skill of value changes that we practiced in that first lesson of our woven ribbons that we did, creating dark, medium, and light values within our spaces. And we have added some textures in here as well. If your animal needs texture in there, you do what is appropriate for your animal. Complementary colors. We've also introduced the new concept of positive space, which is inside objects, positive space, and negative space, which is outside objects. I hope you have fun with this lesson, It can seem intimidating, but if you just do it one step at a time, it will turn out really awesome. I hope you have fun. We are going to start by creating a line contour drawing of an animal of your choice. We will be drawing some lines through the drawing to create our color wheel. So first with a vertical line, then with two diagonal lines to create an X in the middle. Make sure that these lines all cross at the same point in the center. The next step is going to be to create each pie slice like a color wheel in the correct order. Make sure that we have the primary red, blue, and yellow with a space in between for each of the secondary colors. Orange must be in between red and yellow. Green must be between blue and yellow. And purple must be between blue and red. That is because those are the colors that are used to make each of those secondary colors. Notice that anything in this space that we have drawn is going to have those colors, any positive space. So anything that is an object, your animal, or any extra detail that you may have added. I added extra bubbles in my negative space to make sure that it filled it up, since my seahorse did not quite fill the space enough. So any space that is inside of an object is positive space. Anything that is empty with nothing in it is going to be negative space. Once you get all of those colors completed in the positive space for the first color wheel, we are going to go to our last step, which is to color in the negative space with the complementary color in each pie section. So the opposite of purple is yellow. So in the background, in this negative space, we're going to put yellow in the purple section, and vice versa in the opposite section. Yellow positive space will have a purple negative space. Notice that I have used multiple different values of purple, red, yellow, green, blue, all of the colors to create the detail that must be shown. If you simply color it all solid one color, you won't be able to see any detail in your drawing. Please attempt to also create some value changes in your negative space. That way this space will be more interesting. The more space that your animal fills up inside, the less space you will have to fill just with these solid negative space colors. If you'd like to pause the screen on this screen to go back and look at the steps, you may do so. Here are some examples of images of animals that you might want to use for your drawing. You could do a close-up of an animal that fills up the space. If there's only a little bit of negative space, that's okay, but we do want to try and have at least a little bit of negative space around each section. Some animals are simpler than others to draw. Simple shapes, we can break them down into ovals, curved-like shapes to build our animals together. We will do that together in just one moment in this video. Just like this bee, we've got one section here for the body, another for the head, the shape. If we just start building the shapes together, you can draw anything you need to. So pause the screen if you'd like to work on the animal of your choice, or find your own image of a different animal. For my demonstration on my paper in showing how you can separate your animal reference picture into simple shapes to build the overall contour drawing. Once you have your contour line drawing of your animal completed, using your skills from the owl contour drawing that we did previously, make sure that you are constantly looking back and forth between your animal that you are referencing, the picture of your animal, and your drawing to make sure that you are creating those shapes as closely as you can to make it accurate. Make sure that you have added a little bit of detail to activate the space in this big empty area, this negative space. So we have positive space in our leaves, in our branch, and in our chameleon. Anything that is an empty space in between is the negative space. Please outline this drawing in a pen or a marker before moving on to the next step. Make sure that you do not get confused with your lines for your color wheel. Once you have outlined your drawing, please erase the pencil lines. This first step should be completed on the first day of this lesson. Once you have your drawing completely outlined and the pencil lines erased, you are ready to add in the lines for your color wheel. We can use a ruler or a straight edge to draw these lines. Please do not try to draw them freehand. If you don't have a ruler, you can use anything that is long enough to cover the length of your paper. It could be a marker box, or it could be the edge of a book. We are going to draw these lines in pencil only. Do not outline these lines in marker. Only pencil. To make sure that our animal or our drawing fills inside of our color wheel, we can do our vertical line. It doesn't have to be directly in the center. We're going to try and make it go through the main part of our animal. So make sure that your first vertical line, that's the line that goes straight up and down, goes through the center of your animal. So I'm going to draw that line dark enough so that I can see it, but light enough so that I might want to erase it later. Next, I'm going to go from the corner of my page to the other corner and line up my ruler and draw a diagonal line this way. And it's created a point here. I want to line up my ruler on that point in the center for this second diagonal line to make sure that there's not an extra shape in the middle, that they all cross through in one place. So right now I've created a vertical line and two diagonal lines in an X to create 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pie slices on my picture. Remember, these lines are only in pencil. Do not outline them. Once you're done with that, you're ready to begin creating the first color wheel inside your positive space. Remember, that is inside of the animal and any detail that you have created. I would suggest taking your primary and secondary colors out with your colored pencils. We will be using colored pencils, and marking where the colors are supposed to be on our color wheel before you begin. So I'm going to lightly mark where they are on my color wheel with just a light mark inside my positive space. So if I want, maybe yellow's going to go here. Next would be green. Just a light mark, really lightly, because we want it to blend in later. Blue will be next. All that positive positive space inside this pie slice will be blue. And then here is going to be the purple. So anything inside of this pie slice is going to be purple. Next is red. So anything inside this pie slice that is positive space will be red. And orange, I'm going to mark just a little light bit of orange for that section. So just double check, make sure that you've marked it so that you can see it just lightly. Yellow, green, blue, purple, red, and orange. It's okay if it's twisted a little bit. Maybe you started with red up here. As long as your colors have red, yellow, and blue with the space left between and the correct secondary color in between so that it matches, you can turn it any way you want and start on the circle in any orientation. Just make sure they are in the correct order for full credit. I'm going to begin adding the color in my positive spaces. Now that all the positive space of your drawing has been colored in, like your color wheel, with our primary red, yellow, and blue sections, and our secondary green, orange, and purple sections, we are ready to do our background, or the negative space, with the complementary colors. And remember, complementary colors are the colors that are opposites on the color wheel. So we have yellow and purple are opposites. So we're going to have purple back here. Purple is going to go back here. And again, I'm going to have you lightly mark them just so that you don't make a mistake. And so since purple is in this section, its complement is yellow. So please mark the yellow in the negative space here in this section lightly. Next we have orange and blue. Blue is opposite orange on the color wheel. So orange is going to go in the negative space of blue. Those two colors go together. I'm marking it right now lightly. And the same for orange. Since orange's opposite is blue, blue is going to go out here in this negative space. So we're marking that. And our last pair of colors is green and red. Green is opposite of red. They are complements. So green goes next to red, red goes next to green. Please lightly mark those before starting to color them all in so that you do not make a mistake. You can go back to the slides that I showed earlier in the video to make sure that you have them correct if you need to.